running fans, jumping fans, throwing fans, all around athletics fans. Welcome to Talking in Ovals. How is everybody doing out there on this Monday, May 25th, 2026, episode number 192? Hyatt, hello, how are you?
So we finally got a glimpse this weekend of the enhanced games, and what a waste of absolute time
Did I
for
not
everybody.
say it wasn't going to be stupid?
What
Like,
an absolute joke of! I mean, you had Fred Curley win 997, claiming he's the one of four who are actually not enhanced. It was just the dumbest thing. I'm so glad that it's over.
Our former guest Marvin Bracey ended up winning a 10-3-2 or 10-1-3 in the final.
Now listen, if you're going to have this thing, which I think is dumb to begin with, we better see world records. Otherwise,
or get close, right? Like run a 9.7. Like get near it.
What's the point? It was absolutely just dumb.
I mean, we'll see. Fred vows that he's going to be in the Olympics, and as long as he's clean, he can make the team. He's one of the best runners on the planet. So it's hard to deny that. But overall, the enhanced games are always going to be stupid. We know that. No elite athlete is going to do that and admit that they are. Here's the thing, though. This is one of those things that if the financing's there and they do this next year, the following year, and the following year,
they got paid.
The thing is, if you continue to do this, then you'll get those athletes that specifically go for the enhanced games. Sure. So, I mean, that's where it is. So I already see the chat is bumping. Hello, everybody there. We're going to get Alex and Coach on here in a minute. We do our intro, guys. I know you youngins have seen a podcast before. Have to do the intro, damn it. So be patient. Anyway, we just want to say, wherever you're watching from, all the, our Shore Regional fans out there, if you haven't smashed the like button yet, what are you doing? If you haven't followed, subscribed, all that good stuff, what are you doing? Make sure you guys jump on that, please, before you hop out of here. 2 weeks ago, we had on Austin Willis. We had a fun conversation with him. He's a current assistant coach over at Montclair High School, coach of the private training group On the Mark, trains jumpers and everything. So it was a fun conversation with him. He's a young, very energetic coach coming out of Cali, big ideas. So he's someone I think we'll see around the sport for a little bit. So
yes,
100% someone. I enjoyed the show. I know we've had some mixed stuff about Coach, but I like Coach.
No, it was fun.
We were supposed to do our show last Thursday, but we had some technical difficulties. So we weren't able to do that. So you guys are going to get the show today with Alexandra Klein and Coach Tarpey, and you're going to get the show that we were supposed to have last week tomorrow. So you're going to get bonus baseball here. So we're going to have 2 days in a row of Talking in Ovals. So enjoy that while it is here. Now, everybody, a round of applause. What you all came to see, let's bring them on. We are excited to have this duo coming on. Let's bring them in. It is Alexandra Klein and Coach Jack Tarpey. Hello, everybody. How are you?
Hi.
Hey, thanks for having us.
Of course.
It's exciting to talk to you both, to, one of the best runners in the state, one of the best coaches in the state, jumping on here and gracing us. So I appreciate you both jumping on, and the chat is bumping. And usually when the chat's bumping, that means that, Coach, that means you're doing something right. When you have all the athletes here that they are willing to spam, jump on, talk, they're excited to see you. They're yelling at me as the host that I haven't gotten you on screen yet. But so no, I love it. Keep chatting, guys. I love it. Coach is going to make all you guys run ladders and do a whole bunch of pyramids and everything in the hardest workouts you pop. So I want to jump right into it as we always do. Coach, I'm going to go to you first, because why the hell not? When did you get the spark to be a runner? I want all of your athletes that maybe don't know about the beast that you were. When did you get all that spark to be a runner?
Well, I started running in middle school. We had a middle school cross country and track team. So been running since 6th grade. I kind of got tricked into it, switched schools, and someone told me, well, I knew I wasn't going to, there was soccer, but they told you don't go out for soccer. In 6th grade, you'll never make the team. And I wasn't a great soccer player anyway. And then a friend I had, they said, well, come out for cross country. And I said, I don't even know what that is. Like, what is that? And I don't know if he was pulling a fast one or me, or maybe he just didn't realize what was going on at practice himself. He goes, well, it's like hiking in the woods, stuff like that.
Nice.
I said, well, how do you keep score? Like, how do you win at that? So I sign up and I go out, and first day our middle school coach has us go out for 2 miles, and I think just most of my friends that I've had throughout my childhood I made on that team. So I think it's just it started off with just the people that I was running with. But then when I got to high school, I ran at Field Township High School, and I had Coach Golb and Coach Briggs as coaches, and they did a really good job of getting us really fired up about it. And I'd say high school is really when I started to take it more seriously with training, and you have indoor then, and you're running all year round. So it just kind of built from there.
That's awesome. And, I think that you're the first guest we've had that was tricked into being a runner. So I think you are the first, we've had a lot of them that were like, I was a soccer player, but I went to this and I found love in it. But you're just like, yeah, they told me not to play soccer. So that's fantastic.
If only it was that easy all the time.
All right.
I mean,
I know.
that'd be great
I know.
if we
You're
could-
right.
Honestly, how good would everybody?
I want to start tricking
if
kids.
we could just be like every midfielder on the soccer team just come run track. Like the 4x8s would all be beastly.
That's how it should be. Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
my God, it would be
agree.
amazing. They do other sports. I don't know what's wrong with them. But Alex, over to you. What was the spark that made you want to become a runner?
Yeah, so I might actually be your second guest that also got tricked into distance running.
Oh no.
I used to be a 400 runner back in indoor my sophomore year, but at the Line Invitational, my outdoor sophomore season, Coach Tarpey said that he would give me a cookie if I ran my first ever 800. So
Smart.
yeah, I was tricked.
Will work for food. Now, does that still work, Coach Tarpey? Is it just like, hey, if you go out and go and win this race, I will go and get you.
I'll buy you a
Krispy
dozen
Kreme.
cookies.
She's I'm willing to buy cookies, but she's hooked now. I don't really have to do a whole lot of incentives anymore to get her going with
Love it.
competition. So
Now it's over. It's like, hey, all the athletes now are watching what they eat. Like if you sit there and offer an athlete a cookie, they'd be like, Coach, I'm not supposed to have sugar today. Like, it's the whole entire regimen about eating to me is like, I don't know. I'm still a McDonald's fan when I was in high school. Okay. Some kids should definitely be able to still go have a Big Mac, but that is what it is. So Alex, we're going to stick with you. What have been some of your favorite memories as a runner?
I think one of my favorite memories was during cross country season, the Group 1 state championships. I mean, it started before the gun even went off. We all got tattoos of Tarpey, and we kind of surprised him with them and all had them on our arms. So that was really fun. And then crossing the finish line and turning around and just seeing all of my teammates coming in. I believe it was third and then sixth, and just kind of knowing that we won states. That was really fun.
That's awesome. Do you have any more? Give us some more. You've had a good career so far. It can't be just one.
Also, I think my first ever cross country meet at the OCP Invitational. I mean, I was so naive. I had no idea what I was doing. I didn't know any of my splits, anything. I was just kind of released onto this course and I almost got lost. So that was also very fun.
So I have a question. I have a question for both of you, Coach. As Alex mentioned, her sophomore year, or freshman year, she was mostly just a 400-meter runner. What did you see in her that made you kind of envision what we're kind of seeing now with cross country 32-16? Like, did you know, or was it just kind of like some kind of hunch that you had because she was tough?
Yeah. So Alex, we actually missed out on Alex freshman year. But her first year was actually sophomore year. And yeah, she started out with sprints, and it just very quickly, it looked like 400 was going to be her thing in the sprinting event. She was a long sprinter, and just watching her throughout the indoor season, you could just see that. And it wasn't anything wrong with the first two, but she just really came on strong the second half of the race. And it just, watching enough times, just started to kind of get the feeling of, if we put her in 8, she could probably do pretty well there. And try to just take our time. Wasn't in a rush. She was still figuring things out as a new runner. So it didn't happen until outdoor county relays. Alex probably doesn't know this, but there was a showcase meet at Monmouth where I had her entered in the 800, and I was just going to say, no, it's just a workout. Just try it out. But it ended up not working out. So we could have maybe gotten her into it maybe a few months earlier, but it was just watching her throughout the indoor season, how she was doing in the races, that you just kind of felt that she could really probably handle going a little longer. Her doubles were usually just doing the 4 and the 4x4, and she just a strong runner. And even in the workouts we did, she can handle a lot. So it just kind of slowly but surely, the evidence was becoming pretty clear.
Sure. And now, Alex, how did that conversation go from your perspective? Because That's usually a hard thought to have the kids. So we're going to put you up and make you keep running longer and longer and longer. So how were you with that conversation? Were you receptive, or was there any backlash? Like, nah, I'm kind of good here in the 400.
Yeah, so in indoor, he actually did first mention something about the 800, but I was very reluctant. I did not want to do it at all. But I mean, once the cookie was brought into conversation, I was pretty okay with it.
Cookie
What
changes
type of
everything.
cookie was it? That's the question. What type of cookie are we talking here?
Was it black and white or chocolate chip? I forget.
It was a chocolate chip from Brennan's, which is in Oakhurst.
Nice. Hey, listen.
They're big. They're good. So
There you go.
Are they
Listen.
like the original, like crumble cookie before crumble, like a nice thick cookie?
Yeah, pretty much.
Nice.
That's fantastic. You know, it's always funny too, because like as a coach, when you're watching your athletes run, like you do those certain things like, oh, they don't have a great start, but they have really good top end speed and they can hold it. Yeah, we're going to make them go further. Like it's just something that clicks in our brain, like how we do that. I remember we've had on both Scott Davern and John Davern. And Hyatt, I don't know if you were there at the one point, but I looked at both of them at one point. I was coaching Scott. And he was in his senior year and he was a, good 800 miler, 2-miler guy. And I looked at him, I go, you're too slow in the mile. You're going to be a steeple guy over at Haven. He's like, I'm never going to do a steeple. I've never gone over a barrier. Lo and behold, he was one of the Haven's better steeple chaser. And then his brother, John, I also looked at him and I'm like, you're just like your brother. And now he's one of the best Haven steeple chasers of all time. So it's just something as coaches. We just sit there and we're like, can we make you go further? Sure. Let's do that. Now let's add another 20 miles to your base too. Like,
so then Alex, so you started with the 8 and then like you had success. So was you like, was it your idea to try the 16 or was that coach?
Real quick, I have to address this. Zephyr, why are we talking about cookies, bro? Why the hell aren't we talking about cookies, Zephyr? That's the real question. If you're not talking about cookies, if you didn't come to a track and field and cross country podcast to talk about cookies, I don't know what you're doing here.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry, Alex, go ahead.
Yeah, so it was straight from the 800 to cross country. I mean, it was between that or soccer. I played soccer my whole life. And in the summer, it was this whole thing of trying to convince me to come to cross country. So, yeah.
Nice.
So what was the convincing factor? Because I played soccer for a really long time. I played football and I did 2 years of XA in high school. Like, so what was, the factor for you? Because it's hard once you're giving your life to a sport. And if you're good at the sport too, like even if I'm better at the other sport, I still really love this one. So what was the deciding factor to, give up soccer and jump in headfirst to being a runner?
Yeah, so I think that when I first qualified for nationals in the 800, I was like, oh, maybe I could be really good at this. But honestly, I have to attribute it most to the seniors on the team who just made running so much fun. Like all of the theme days, we would do hide and seek or what's it called? Like we would have to run around town and try to find these like little hints to a bigger thing. Like it was just
Scavenger hunt.
Yeah, scavenger hunt. It was like all the silly things.
It's so funny because like as guys, I don't think I ever did that. And I would see the girls' teams doing it. Like the girls' teams would always go and jump and do it. And I would just be like, I just want to beat my friend in a race. Like my only goal is to make sure the kid next to me never beats me in a race. But it's just whatever gets the team going. That is all that matters. Coach Torchia coming in. Jack Tarpey has built a really top end program at Shore. Congrats. We love Coach Torchia here.
High praise from Coach there.
Absolutely.
So I actually want to get into that because when like Shore is not just Alex. There's a whole team of people behind her, boys and girls. So, Coach, what did when you first got there? Was your goal to build this culture and this place where like kids like feel safe running and where they all just want to run together? Because you guys have to be one of the better Group 1 schools for distance whole state. So how did you guys get to the point where you're now? And it seems like every kid there wants to run and everyone's friends and like everyone just gets along. It really seems like a very positive vibe there. So what have you done to kind of build this culture?
Well, I think there's been a strong running culture at Shore that predates me.
Yes.
I started coaching at Shore. My first experience was in 2013. I was assistant coach for Mel Olmeyer, who took over that program. Yeah. He actually just got inducted into our high school's Hall of Fame.
As he should. Yes.
And I met him. My first coaching job was actually at Manville, and we were Central Jersey Group 1. Briggs actually introduced me to Mel, and that's kind of how I found my way to be his assistant. And he I mean, he took over that program in the 90s and built into a great program. So it wasn't like it's every year you get new kids, and you're always, just because when you have one year with a good culture, that means you're set. There's always new kids you're bringing in. You're trying to get them to buy into the sport. And I would argue that high school track coaches have a tougher time than maybe any coach in any sport, because you're like, I don't, where we are in West Long Branch, they don't even have track in the middle school. So we're not only trying to get them to buy in, we're trying to teach them everything. So there's been a tradition of running and just track and field in general at Shore Regional. And I'm just happy to be contributing to it, or having kids here that are actively contributing to it, what's already been going on for a really long time now.
Now, Alex, being a older runner now, and being like the top runner on the team, do you find a sense of responsibility to get people into that culture and to kind of spread what your whole team is all about? Like, do you take on that leadership role as one of the older runners?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, even not knowing so much, or not used to knowing so much about track, I think it's a lot about just doing the right things and being consistent and showing that to the younger girls. I mean, team culture, it doesn't just come from the seniors, it's built from the freshmen all the way up. So I think that everyone contributes, and
100%. So also sticking with that note, obviously, Shore is one of the, it's a smaller program. It's Group 1. For you, Alex, when you're mixing it up in states, is there a little bit of a chip on your shoulder as you're looking around and here's a bunch of girls from Group 4, from, Parochial 1, and you're there and you're representing Group 1, one of the small schools? Is that something that gives you a little bit of a chip going, you know what? I'm going to rub elbows with these girls and I'm going to beat them all and show them that these small schools can do some good stuff?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think some people might view it as not a chip on their shoulder, but in my opinion, I kind of love being the underdog. I love being overlooked, and I love just putting myself in there and telling myself that I belong.
100%. So, Coach Tarpey, for you with the mentality, obviously, you went from, Mansfield over a small school and stuff like that. How have you just found a passion and a love for cultivating these kind of small school teams and really bringing them to levels to compete with some of these bigger schools?
Yeah, it's fun to have a small school. I think it gives more opportunities for kids that maybe at a bigger program wouldn't have the opportunity to shine like they do here at Shore.
Yeah.
But as far as a chip on a shoulder, I mean, some athletes, I think they have that kind of attitude when they compete, and that helps them. But I think one thing that we try to preach to our athletes here is we take a lot of pride being from Monmouth County, and then you throw in Ocean County there with the short conference. It's not necessarily about school size. It's more that where we come from. We compete against some really good programs, regardless of if they're Group 2 or 3 or 4 or non-public, whatever. We just take a lot of pride competing against some really good teams. Cross country, when we get to the Group 1 championships, we talk often about how if it's anyone's home course in Group 1, it's ours, because we're there so many times, just being a local team. And then 2, we have our county meet there. We're there for short coaches, and we're always in the race with like Union Catholic and stuff. So we a lot of good schools in Group 1, but we always tell our athletes, like, hey, you're battle tested. You faced against some really good teams every single week. Like, who are you going to see in November that you have not seen already, or that's even could be more daunting than what you've already gone up against? So we try not to talk so much about school size, because at the end of the day, when the gun goes off, it's who's got it and who doesn't. But we take more, it's more about just pride about we're in a really good spot in our sport, and it makes us better.
Yeah. So Alex, you've actually come into a time in New Jersey where, I'll say it, it's got to be the greatest time for distance running girls in the history of our state. What is it like in each week going in and having to compete against all these amazing girls and to put yourself right up there with all of them? Like, I mean, obviously you didn't run at any other time, but this is absolutely insane what these girls are running now. So what is it like knowing that when you step on the line, there's nothing easy. Everything has to be worked really, really hard for?
Yeah, definitely. I think it's just a blessing to be able to live near such amazing competition and having it all kind of local, I guess. I mean, I would much rather have it this way than maybe someone who's living in Alaska who may not have access to all these amazing girls. I think that you can feel bad for yourself, but at the end of the day, it's that's how the sport is. I mean, what's it called? Running inflation. Yeah, I mean, you just have to deal with it.
Yeah.
How do you feel that the competition kind of prepares you for when it comes to getting into nationals, right? Because nationals is obviously a goal. In with all the nationals that are around now, I feel like everybody can go compete. But there are some ones where some of these nationals, I think Nike and New Balance probably have a ridiculous amount of talent between the two of them, right?
Sure.
Does competing where you compete, and especially in New Jersey, where the meet of champions exists, and you're lining up against basically your whole final at any of these events, all the girls are probably going to nationals there, right? For the most part. Do you feel like your competition throughout the season prepares you for all these national meets?
Yeah, definitely. I think that meet of champions and then a few invitationals that we go to really prepare me because I feel like it's a great concentration of runners that run kind of the same time. I mean, meet of champions indoor this year when it was a bunch of girls, I think about 10 that ran between 10:30 and 10:40. I mean, it's just
Yeah, it's
everyone's
crazy.
shoulder to shoulder. There's a little bit of tumbling around. So, yeah.
Listen, we're in this state. We have 3 girls under 950. It's bonkers.
It's
absolutely crazy.
wild.
Yeah.
So, Coach,
Go ahead.
real quick, from your perspective, on that note, in terms of like how different it is for athletes being prepped for big competition. You've been coaching since the early 2010s, right? 2009. Like how has that changed from your perspective as a coach where, I mean, even back to when I was competing and stuff, you didn't have as many opportunities to get this massive talent, consistently week in week competing. How has it been for you as a coach being able to have all of these kind of meets to pick from, and any given meet you go to in the area, it's so massive, and all the nationals rising up and things like that?
Yeah, it can definitely be overwhelming. And I mean, high school is always, even when we were competing, there was a lot of meets, but now you're right, it's even more so. So I think it's really important to just have a plan. And, with someone like Alex, we'll sit down maybe in the season, we'll try to map out like where we're going to take our shots and where we want to go and try and take advantage of these opportunities to race. So I think it's really just comes down to just kind of like when you want to lay out your training, also work into that plan. Like what are the races that matter to us? And what doesn't. We don't want to try and overburden ourselves with too many races. We want to make sure we prioritize, what are our goals and what are the meets that are going to help us reach those goals. So it's really just about trying to lay out what works for us and what we're trying to do.
Now, with that, do you ever have to take into consideration Alex as the individual, and maybe there might be a better meet for her as an individual than it might be going with the rest of her team to a different meet, or does she just kind of do what everyone else does?
Well, we try to. Team's always first, so that's what we always preach, and Alex knows that, and she's really good about that too. They all are. It's a great group of girls and guys that are all about each other, regardless of who the ability is where. As far as it really hasn't been a conflict with team aspirations. Some of the goals that we're talking about are later in June, and those are things you have to qualify for. So when you get to that point of the year, you have very few athletes that are still in season and doing things. So it really there hasn't been a conflict in terms of, or it hasn't really been a discussion about this is better for you versus what's better for the team. And again, I guess kind of to the point made before about how we have so many good girls here in New Jersey.
Yeah.
We go to Monmouth County, we go any of these meets that we go to with the team, the individuals also getting great competition for them that could help them towards national aspirations or getting that seat time they need to be in a good spot and feel confident for meet of champions.
Sure. Now,
that's kind of, I guess, luxury. You can kind of kill 2 birds with 1 stone there.
Sure. Now, Alex, really quick, as being the leader of your team, do you enjoy the individual aspect, or do you really enjoy the relay aspect with your teammates?
Honestly, I don't think I can pick. I love both so much, but I mean, the relays are so much fun, and I feel like those are the types of memories that will stay with you into college and when my running career may end. So yeah, definitely the team, I think.
I would agree with that, because it's been kind of a hot topic lately, whether like kids should go for the individual or the team. And me personally, I love the relay meets. It's just great to run with all of your teammates together, and watching you guys always seem to have a very fun time when you're running your relays and rooting for each other. So it's always fun to watch.
Yeah, definitely.
Alex, are you back?
Yeah.
Oh no, the other Alex. That's okay.
Oh,
All right,
sorry.
that's okay. So we have groups coming up. Do you have any individual plans, or is that kind of keeping it a secret? Like, what are your goals for the rest of the season going forward?
I think I'm back. Hi guys.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah, so at groups this weekend, I will be running the 1600, 3200, and then the 4x4. And I think I'm gonna also try to go for a good time as well as obviously try to win both of those races. So yeah.
Good. I mean, listen, you have to get that seat time for MOC, so I completely get it.
Yeah.
So, Coach, what are your goals for a team? Like, how many kids did you have make it groups, and are you guys like, how many kids do you still have going on still?
We have quite a few. Our team goal wise, we start off pretty strong. We won our division. We're in A Central, and then after that, a couple of the athletes started talking about sectionals, trying to put forth a good team effort there. Came up a little short, but in the process of that, we did have a lot of athletes move on to the state meet. So we'll have a busy 2 days, fortunately. And as far as team goals with that, it's just trying to get as many through as we can, get as many medals as we can, and as many over to the meet of champs as we can. So we got I think a couple of really good opportunities, more than a couple of good opportunities in a couple of event areas.
I love it.
Absolutely. I like this right here. A quick captain coming in saying "we over me" at Shore Regional. I like that.
That is
Is
good.
that a quote of the team at all, or is that just something said?
That's that's kind of taken on I guess the mantra for the team this year. I think the distance girls, I think, kind of first started that during indoors. They had that written on their hand. That was Alex, along with one of our senior leaders, Mila, and then one of our freshmen, Layla. They did that because they doubled the 16 to 32, and it's kind of just picked up traction from there.
So, Alex, how do have you found it any sort of difficult at all to kind of keep that balance? Because you're having a lot of individual success, right? What is that balance like to try and keep it in perspective, right? Like, yes, you have aspirations. You want to go on to mocks. You want to compete as well as you can there. You want to go and compete at nationals against the best of the best. But how do you keep yourself grounded in remembering that there is that we aspect?
Yeah, I definitely think that it's just kind of expressed in our team culture as well as definitely through the relays and everything like that. I mean, I can go and maybe do well in my individual races, but I will always come back for that 4x4 at the end of the race, for those 4x8s and all of that. So, yeah, I just remember that I'm racing not just for myself, for my teammates as well.
100%. And coach, I'll go to you here. How important do you feel relays are for a high school team? I know Dave was going to eventually ask it, so I beat him to it. What are your opinion about relays? Because obviously, we had Chuck on the show. That's not a secret, and his post about relays got viral. It got big, and there was a lot of opinions about that. And we had the conversation with Chuck, and it was a great show. But I think it's fair to ask the question to some of the best coaches around. How do you feel about relays for high school athletes?
I love the relays. I think one of my favorite meets is county relays. We got to take quite a few relays to Penn this year, which was a lot of fun. It was our first time bringing a girls 4x8.
Nice.
So I think the relays are great. I think track, I think sometimes, yes, there's the individual component to it, but there is a team aspect there. No one gets where they are alone. A lot of that teamwork is done in workouts through the support and pushing each other, but nowhere is it more clear and present than in relays. And I think it does a great job with culture and kind of sending home that team message because
agreed.
We talk a lot often with our kids. You really can't run to your very best if you're not running for something bigger than you, and no way can you send that home is in a relay. And there's a good story with that, actually, with our 4x8 last year, which that was Alex was a part of that when she was kind of learning the 8. She was on there with they're now seniors, Grace, Mila, and Kira, and they were at the Group 1 state championships for outdoor. They're running the 4x8, and they kept trading the lead back and forth for the win. And every single time they lost the lead, they had a big kick the last 200 to hand the baton off. And weeks later, I said to each of them, I said, that you guys had that kick probably wouldn't have had that if you were a little further back, or maybe if it was an individual race. But you had that
Agreed.
there because you didn't want to be the one to hand off the baton in second place and let the others
Oh, yeah.
down. They all said yes. And then
Yeah.
when we got to cross country, we said we need to expand that to everybody. So I think the relays is really kind of how you kind of drive home to the kids like this: what you do in your race matters and it affects the others. And also, it's just fun. It's fun just to kind of
Agreed.
have
There you
everyone,
go.
the four of them together.
Agreed.
Especially freshmen, just they don't know what's
100%.
going on, so they have an opportunity to be on a relay with upperclassmen. No better way to kind of learn than to be with them doing these
And that's
things.
how freshmen learn. You're absolutely right. Like they learn by watching and making mistakes. And in a relay, a freshman can make a mistake, and the upperclassman can make up for it. You know, like it's a great way to just learn.
Oh yeah, I
It's
used to love that.
it's so great when you have a group of them too that are coming back and they have success, and you hear them start talking to each other like, oh, another year, another couple of years, we could really be.
Oh yeah.
We could have a good 4x1. We have a good 4x4, whatever
Yep.
relay it is. So I love the relays.
Me too.
So Alex, as for you, say coach came to you next year, you're a senior next year, and is like, listen, we love the relays. We really want to focus on individuals. I have a few target meets to get out of here. Would you then argue and be like, no, I want to do relays? Or would because from an athlete's perspective, I'm curious what you think about it. If coach was like, you have the option, you can participate in the 4x8, the 4x4, or we could focus more individually. Where would you want to go?
It's honestly hard to imagine that because I feel like that's something Tarpey would never ever say. But I think that as a senior, I mean, I don't think I could give up the relays. I know that individual success is important, but I mean, like, those are the memories that are actually going to stick with you. And I think it's just so important in building and expanding that team culture to the younger athletes.
100%. So speaking of things that could be positive or detrimental, let's talk about something that, we've talked about a good amount on here in terms of tech, social media, and things like that. But Alex, I feel like you want to dive a little bit further into it because it's no secret. We send out a bunch of questions to our guests so we can base everything about the show about what they want to talk about. And you were really big on social media and its impact. So in terms of what we do, cross country, track and field and stuff, especially for the high school athlete, what are some of the positives that you see social media, and this includes Strava, because Strava's social media for runners.
Sure.
What do you see impact positive? We'll start on the positives of social media.
Yeah, so I think one of the biggest ones is coverage and giving runners the attention that they may not normally receive. I think it definitely expanded the sport and made it more, I guess, globalized it. So I think that's an amazing aspect of social media, as well as giving athletes, specifically high school athletes, the opportunity to profit from the sport and doing what they love, like NIL deals and all of that.
Absolutely. Yeah. So now let's go to the negatives. What are the negatives that you see of social media here?
I definitely
see coach smiling.
There's definitely a lot of people. I mean, once you have a platform, kind of having running influencers who maybe shouldn't have a platform because they're not necessarily qualified to speak on the things they are. And I think that younger, naive athletes can look up to them and think that if you see someone running 80 miles a week, you'll think, okay, I need to run 80 miles a week so I can get as good as them. And that's just not necessarily true at all.
True.
So I have an opinion. I have a question for you, putting you a little bit on the hot seat. How do you feel about Marco? Marco, I feel like, is one of those fiery influencers in the running world, and he gets a lot of love, a lot of hate. And I think if you ask Marco, he'd be like, I deserve both. So how do you feel about Marco? Because he is a young man that is
from Jersey,
influencing a lot of high school runners right now, just with the and I think for me personally, you get the good and the bad of Marco, right? You get the passion, right? Obviously, the dude is ridiculously passionate about being a great runner. But then at times you get the things that it's like, okay, he's not really great for young kids. So let's make sure no young kids are watching when Marco does an interview. But how do you feel about Marco?
Yeah, I think that his passion for the sport is amazing, and it's definitely bringing so much attention to the collegiate level and obviously making a name for himself. But I do think that he's a little bit explicit sometimes, which, I mean, if that's part of the brand that he wants
he's
to
a
build,
Jersey boy. What can I say?
Yeah.
Through and through.
So, Coach.
Go ahead. Yeah, go, Dave.
Coach, because, obviously, when I stopped coaching about 15 years ago, and then I got back into it about 3 years ago, that time in tech and social media just exploded. There are parts of it that I like being able to kind of see what math is doing, but I also see a lot of negative aspects, like on Strava, like kids just always constantly comparing themselves to what other kids are doing. I don't know if you see that, and what are your kind of thoughts overall on social media? I think it's something that we just have to deal with because it's always going to be here, but I'm kind of curious what your thoughts are on it.
Yeah. So as a team, I don't push Strava. I don't track the athletes' mileage through there. I'm old fashioned. I kind of write down what we do, and then I refer back to that later. But we do have athletes that are on Strava, and that's fine. I think I have Strava for my own personal running. I think
I do too.
it's a great app. But yes, the looking at what other people are doing, seeing just because it's only giving you what the numbers are, and not actually giving you the story of what is going on with their training and their life. And there's so much more to it than that. It's kind of like what Alex was getting into about being misled, possibly by those that aren't really in a position where they should be. I think Strava is great because it gets kids into it. And let's face it, the younger generations today, that's what they have. As soon as they get done, they're on their phones afterwards. So Strava's a part of that with the running community.
So are we all are friggin' addicted to our phones. It's like we rag on the younger generation. We're like, put your phone down as we're looking at ours. Like it's we pick it up in 3 seconds later.
That's true. Yeah. But I think Strava can be, it's like, even like with MileSplit, everything in moderation. Comparison's the thief of joy. So don't get too wrapped up on all the numbers and seeing what this person's doing, that person's doing. And
it's funny because like my couple of my younger kids asked me like, so you didn't have Strava or you didn't know? I'm like, no. I'm like, I honestly, there were races that I didn't know who I was racing, and it was kind of nice. You just got on the line. Like I didn't know if I was supposed to beat you or lose you. We just went and raced. Sometimes I would win, sometimes I would lose, but that I feel like, one, I think kids these days are mentally tougher in some ways because they have to overcome all this knowledge and still have to perform. But I also think it's stuff that, like, is it all necessary? Like, do they have to know that this person has a 0.5 second faster PR? Like it's like sometimes I feel like that there's too much information that these kids have to digest 100%. on a daily basis that we never even had to think about.
I think you could argue too. There's a lot of conversations now about how these guys and girls are running so well. I think part of it is also just that interconnectedness they have with each other throughout the country. Yeah. Now you can just see what everyone's doing. And I think that raises, I think it's no coincidence back in the 50s, you had once one person broke 4 minutes in the mile, then you had a couple others. So it's just the tide raises all ships, and the internet and the apps allow them to see it and then inspire them to do it. And so it's a good thing, and it's a double-edged sword.
I also think too, kind of, like talking about why everyone is so much faster. When I was in school, 1990s, if you had a bad coach, you had a bad coach. Now, like, anybody can go online and get some sort of training program from some top coach, or you could even go to Chat GPT and it'll give you something that will at least help you in some way. I wouldn't follow it, but it can at least.
But there are some awful coaches where they're just like a football coach and they just came to get a stipend, and they're like, "Oh, you run distance, go a mile."
But I mean, listen, like I'm not gonna lie and say that I haven't learned things from technology and reading things and changing maybe the way that I do things. So I think overall it's good, but I definitely think it does add so much extra pressure to these kids because they are so aware of what everyone's doing, especially MileSplit too. Like kids knew where they were seated in groups like 2 hours after they were done in sectionals. It's like already on to the next. It's like
you don't have a minute to enjoy it.
No, exactly. So I'm saying like there's not that time to say I just did this. It's like, oh well, I'm gonna be. Like I remember at sectionals, I had kids. Do you think I'm going to be in a seated heated group? I'm like, you just ran 15 minutes ago. Like, let it sit in. Like, relax, enjoy the fact that you're going to groups. I feel like there's so much less time for these kids to actually enjoy what they're actually doing and to take the time to celebrate. Because it's always on to the next. Next.
Well, because they need to make sure they could put it on Instagram. I'm in the seated heat at groups. It's all about putting it on Instagram and making sure they could throw it up there. So, Alex, for you, as a leader on the team, not only just performance-wise on the track, obviously, like you said, with athletes being influenced by seeing what, Parker Valby just did. It's like, she's freaking Parker Valby. You're not running her workouts, right? But kids do get influenced by that. So
Sure.
for you as a leader, how important is it for you to show, hey, I know it too. I'm on Strava, but I'm not paying attention to the outside noise. I'm buying into what Coach Tarpey's saying because that's ultimately the big thing that, athletes have to do is yes, you could see what's going on here, even if it's your rival and you see, okay, crap, they did this workout. No, I need to buy into Coach Tarpey's plan because he has a plan for me. He knows me best. So how is important is it for you to show that?
Good
Not only
question.
just say it, but to show it as an athlete that okay, so and so just ran this on Strava, but this is what coach wants me to do, and I'm going to go and do this workout as good as I possibly can.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's extremely important. And I mean, I do a Strava as well, but that is why I keep mine public because sorry, private, because I want to listen to Coach Tarpey's word. I don't want to see my competition's workouts. I don't need to. It's just what he says. And then I let my teammates follow me, and that's it. So, yeah.
I don't know how coaches are okay with athletes in high school, especially putting their workouts on Strava if they do.
It's tough,
I don't
man.
know many that do. If they do that, for me, it's like, and coach, you could talk to this. I don't want other coaches to get my workouts, right? Especially if I have a few just in my back pocket that I know work really well for XYZ type of runner. We talk enough. Coaches talk to each other at this point where if you're friendly with the coach, okay, I'm struggling here. What would you do? You give certain tidbits to each other, but I don't want giving away full workouts. So for you as a coach, how much harder has it been for you to kind of jam that through? Like, don't put my workouts on Strava. Don't pay attention. Buy in here to what I'm saying.
Yeah, and again, we don't have a ton of athletes doing Strava, and those that are, like Alex said, is it's private. So um, we haven't really had a whole lot of issue of advertising what we do, but we also talk a lot. There's no secret workouts.
Exactly. I was just gonna say that. Like everyone's
It's
doing everyone is pretty much doing a lot of the same things. So it's just a
yeah,
matter of
I think it's it's the little things. I mean, it's all there, and I think that's also why that's another thing with the online and everything is that there's so much knowledge out there. You can see a workout in isolation, but how does it fit in the overall plan or scheme or whatever you're trying to do? So, I mean, if something's we're not super secretive about anything like
right.
that.
Yeah.
We have our process, and there's others. Manasquan, you have your process, and
Sure.
Yeah.
I bet you there's a lot of things we do in common. I
Sure.
remember when I first started coaching, going to a coaching clinic, and the distance coach that was talking from the room, he said we could fill this entire gym with coaches from all over the place, and they're all very successful, but they're all doing something maybe just a little bit different.
Right.
Yep.
So it is what it is in that respect.
Yeah. Listen. Absolutely.
100%. And I mean, that's also where the tech can come into play, right? Where if you see a workout that you think is really good, but how is it going to fit my athletes, right? You can design it yourself and maybe use the tech to check it, right? Like I have an athlete, I see this workout from X, Y, and Z. I have a athlete that runs this. Help me tailor this workout, right? To make it fit. And obviously old school coaches can do it, but it doesn't hurt to check to make sure, okay, are the target times what I'm trying to do, is it good or not? But there's still a human element to coaching that you
Has to be.
really can't take. A computer
Listen,
can't
there's
watch an
nothing
athlete's
better.
mechanics and things like
There's
that.
nothing better than a stopwatch, a pencil, and a piece of paper. That is still the
You're an
best
old
way
man.
to coach. I am, but I mean that's the way. Like I never time with my actual phone. It's all about the old stopwatch,
Oh
man.
no, I can't time on my phone. It has to be a stopwatch or my
Sure.
wristwatch. And even I'm not gonna lie, with the friggin' connected phone watches suck as stopwatches. Okay, the old Casio Ironman was the best stopwatch of all time, especially with the start stop right in the front. These new ones, they suck. I do not like them. Yeah, you need a stopwatch. So Alex, going back to you, someone who's young, obviously you probably see all the running content coming up on your social media because they know you're a runner and they want to target you, right? Do you think that the like running influencer space is oversaturated? Because obviously mine targets me, and when I'm on our Talking and Oval social media, like I'll get so many different things. Like it seems like every college kid now has like throws a bunch of reels on there. And so do you feel like it's just completely and totally like oversaturated? Is that kind of a negative of what we're seeing with social media right now?
Yeah, so I definitely do think it's oversaturated, but it's not about how many people are influencers. I think it's about more what they're sharing online and just harmful content that you're putting out that you're just pushing to a huge audience that is so different and unique. And yeah.
So yeah, no, and I think that's kind of like even outside of just running, right? Like I feel like that's just social media. You just described it in a nutshell because the biggest influencers are usually pushing out the worst stuff because historically human beings love disaster. I don't know what it is, like not like what is that one movie 2012 that everyone freaking loves, or Day After Tomorrow? For whatever reason, we just like the negative always seems to spread more like hotcakes. So
It's
yeah,
true.
absolutely. So, Coach, I'm going to come to you with this one because I want to hear your answer and then I want to get Alex's. How can we use tech in track cross country running as a positive? How can we use the social media, this type of stuff, as a positive for our athletes? What can we do for that section?
I think just to promote what the athletes are doing, the successes they have. I mean, it's a sport that, we talked earlier in the podcast about having a chip on your shoulder. I think I think we have more of a chip on our shoulder just because we're track athletes, not necessarily a
Yeah.
small school. Because I mean, these kids work tremendously hard. Alex is one of them, and there's a whole bunch of goofy comments in the chat of kids from shore that these kids work tremendously hard and they make a lot of sacrifices throughout the year. So I try to use we have a team Instagram page that's in regards to social media. I try to use that just to highlight what these kids do so our school can see it. Our superintendent, she's all over it. She always comments on these guys' successes. So, yeah, I think just using it to promote the sport and what these guys are doing. Cause I mean, we talked about it before, especially in New Jersey. It's incredible what these kids are doing right now, these athletes. So,
Absolutely. And that's one thing, we didn't talk about in the beginning because, I'm terrible at promoting things we do in our podcast, but we're just wrapping up my little virtual project, the big meet that we did. Alex, I saw you liking a whole bunch and I appreciate all the, any likes. Again, social media, we need likes, but, that's one of the things I'm trying to do is obviously we just finished up with the top girls and top guys. And those are the ones that a lot of people talk about, Jackson Spencer and obviously Blair and things like that. But the goal was also to shine a light on a lot of the other athletes and maybe states like Alex, you mentioned Alaska. We have the top 5 from Alaska included. Their names are there and they are the top in their state. And it's our way of trying to kind of give shine to all these athletes working their asses off that maybe don't have the same competition Alex has. Cause I can imagine you take some of those girls or those guys from those states that don't have as much competition and you transplant them into some of these bigger states with maybe a little bit better coaching at times. And you're going to see them explode just as much.
Sure.
So, like you said, Coach, that was kind of a way of me trying to give these other athletes a shine that they deserve. And, I tried to tag everyone and I'm currently working on the indoor version of that. And that is a ton of work, but it's fun as hell because you get to now see a bunch of the future athletes. And I always love when I see like a sophomore or a freshman digging into like these big times. I'm like, nice, they're going to be doing some awesome stuff in the future. But I do agree with that it can do that positive. And Dave, you have a really good social media page over at Manasquan, and I think a lot of
I don't run it, but
you have a good one there.
Yes,
And I think a lot of programs are taking advantage of that. And
yeah, you have to.
I do like that the whole meet day things that people are doing where it's just a bunch of goofy pictures and videos of, and I think that's cool.
We do that,
to loosen up, to make it not as stressful and
kind of humanizes everyone too.
Yeah. Yeah.
It shows that like these are great athletes working hard, but they're also kids and they like to be goofy and they like to have fun, and it kind of lets them show who their personality is as a human, not just as like Alex the runner, but like Alex Klein the individual or the actual person. So it's for that aspect, I think it's good. But yeah, I mean, if you're a team who's not putting out content out there, you're a team that nobody is paying any attention. That's just how it is now. Whether it's good, bad, or indifferent, that's just where we are. You have to make content that is interesting for your athletes to get recognized, or they just run really, really fast.
Definitely. So, Alex, from your perspective as a young athlete, and obviously someone that rising up the ladder with your performances, how can social media be used for good, and how do you intend on using your social media for good in our sport?
Yeah, definitely. I think that from a perspective of someone trying to run at a collegiate level, I think it's made the recruiting process a lot easier, and it kind of expands your resources and connection to people. But I also think that it can just be used to spread positivity and to normalize things like silly little quirky things that runners do, and it makes everyone feels seen, I guess.
Are you going to create a specific, like, Alex Klein runs page? 'Cause I did see a lot of that, especially when I was doing my research in terms of trying to tag athletes, to give them their shine in the big meet. A lot of them had their personal page, which was typically private, but then they had a running page, which was more public. Some of those still private, but are you going to do anything like that to kind of keep running, private, especially as, the collegiate search really, really heats up? You're probably already being inundated with a whole bunch of colleges right now as a junior, because that's when the madness freaking starts. But do you plan on creating like a separate social media there, or are you just going to keep the one that you have as your go-to?
Yeah, honestly, I was going to, but then all of the college coaches, I guess they started following my main account. So I was like, let me just use this. It'll work as both. And also it makes me keep in check what I'm posting and stuff like that.
Sure.
So yeah.
So
Yes.
So Alex, my partner, Alex,
Hi, that's
just
me.
brought this up. So you're at the age now and the time where college is going to start something that you have to start thinking about. Have you reached out to any other people, maybe from Shore who graduated, or other girls in the area who are going through that process? And also, Coach, what is your kind of input on this, and like how do you handle the whole college recruiting process? Alex, go ahead.
Yeah, so I've definitely utilized some alumni from Shore to help me gain those connections and everything like that. So yeah, it's been very helpful.
And Coach, what about you? What's your guidance in terms of the situation and recruiting?
I just try to be just another source of support for Alex or anyone that's looking to run in college, any of my athletes, to sound off ideas on whether it's, hey, the coach said this, how do I respond? Or what should I do about this situation? If there's a particular college an athlete ever brings up, if I know something about, I'll try to tell them things that I've heard, or I'll talk to other coaches I know that, we have a great, it's a great small running community. So if I don't know something about a program, I'll ask around and try and relay some just feedback that I hear about things. I do think we have some supportive alumni that are wrapping up their college careers or are currently doing or have been out of it, that also do a great job of keeping in touch and coming back, and they're a resource for athletes as well. So yeah, I'm kind of whatever the athlete needs me to be, just to kind of help with that process, because it's overwhelming.
Oh, yeah.
And it's new for them. We're talking about high school kids that have to take on the responsibility of emailing coaches, and now coaches, they're texting them, and they're doing all these things that they need to do to try and get this talent to be interested in them. So anything I can do to help out with that, I do.
And when they hear the first thing, what's an NCAA clearinghouse? You have to do that before they could talk to you. Like,
and also, and if you didn't know, Coach Torchia has an app that he created to help kids get into college.
Yes, he did. Yeah, do you remember the name of that app? Because I don't. I'm a terrible host.
I do not know.
But Coach Torchia does have an app that helps kids out. So that is definitely a good resource. Coach, if you could drop that, if you're still watching, drop that, what you have, because we're terrible at our job. Anyway, Alex, do you know what major you want to do yet?
Yes, I'd definitely like to go down the pre-law track.
Oh, very nice. Pre-law. And without revealing who you talked to or anything like that, what are you looking for in a school yourself in terms of the school and the program? Like, so what are the two things, educational and program-wise, that you're looking for?
Yeah, definitely. So I think that my biggest thing is not sacrificing academics or athletics. I think I'd like a great balance of both. I definitely want to stay close to home and trying to mimic that team culture we have at Shore Regional.
So I will say, I'm going to do some alumni tampering over here. There's a
going to
school behind me, Marist, the Red Foxes.
How about Rutgers?
Come up.
How about Rutgers?
We're on the come up here, Marist. We just got a track, and we're going to be beating Rutgers consistently soon. Sorry, Coach Farrell. No, I'm kidding.
You're out of your mind. Out of your mind.
But no, always love to shout it out. Here's the thing: wherever you choose, they're going to be getting a fantastic athlete. And just always remember, they have to sell themselves to you as well, Alex. Do not be doing the only one selling, because you are going to be going there and winning titles for them. So they need to make sure that any school that's just looking at you going, I think we can have a spot, you could be like, well, I guess not me. That's the thing. They make sure that the school is selling themselves to you as well, because you're one of the premier athletes in Jersey, and that friggin' means something. So make sure that you are if they're not selling themselves to you, they can kick rocks, and then you can go beat their school in another race and laugh and smile. Even though you're too nice of a girl to do that, I could see that already. You're not that type of person. So overall, I appreciate you both coming on the show. This was awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it. Thanks
So
for
do you
doing
guys-
all this for the sport.
Yeah. Do you guys have anything that you want to end off with, Coach? Anything you want to end off with before we jump out of here?
Just appreciate it again for you guys taking the time to highlight Alex and our team. You know, I think we were talking before about what can we do to kind of use the social media and things like that. A podcast is great, just highlighting these athletes and the programs around here.
We have so much fun doing it. Honestly, we are blown away. Alex, you're a part of that group of high schoolers that are good at talking. Like I was a rumble and bumble and stumble and fool, quite literally still am on a podcast. But it's like the high schoolers, how good you all are at just being composed, being mature. The interviews you guys are able to do are incredible. So Alex, you have anything to say before we jump out of here?
Thank you so much. And thank you again for bringing so much attention to this sport. I think that, nothing else to really add there.
All right.
It is the sport we love, and we love bringing attention to it. So before we get out of here, I do want to bring attention here. Boop, boop. Is it going to work? Is it going to work? Hey, I hate this. All right. So we'll do it this way because Restream is not working with me right now. But first and foremost, we have not highlighted the Bella Mile, Dave. So
June 6th, I was with Coach Decker, Courtney Decker today. We were talking about it. There's a good field lined up. You have some college kids, some pros, some high school kids. It's going to be a great time. Bella in Motion is such a phenomenal program for all women out there. It's fantastic.
Yeah. So 100%. If you have not signed up already, please go sign up. And here's the thing. If you're looking at this going, listen, I see, Lila's there and Jess Abbott, I can't compete with those girls. That's okay. They have a whole bunch of different categories. It doesn't matter how fast, how slow you are, how old you are. Go out, run a mile. It's at CBA's facility, which is gorgeous.
Yes, it is.
You're not going to get a better place to run. And just go out there and have fun. Just go run a fun mile. So I want everyone that has not signed up already, go out and sign up for this, or otherwise we will bully you and be mad at you. I now want to share this. Everyone go, if you're not following already, go follow the Shore Regional High School. Now, Coach, do you run this or does somebody else run this for you?
I run this.
Good job, Coach. That. I do not run ours, and I give you kudos for running it. Thank God I have a much younger coach who's a lot more savvy with the stuff and does an amazing job.
I have to say, I love Shore Regional's crest there, the educational crest. It is awesome looking. So I got to give a shout out to that. And then last, but certainly not least, the young lady was talking about social media, so you better go follow her. Alexandra_Klein09. Make sure you go give her a follow. So Alex, what can people expect to see on your page?
Definitely just pictures of my friends and I, things I love doing, and some running content. So yeah.
I absolutely love it. So
well,
once again,
hold on. I think my favorite part is that you have all that in there, and it's not just consumed with just running. It shows that you are a well-rounded person, because this sport can take so much out of you if you let it. You have to be well-rounded. You have to have other interests outside of this sport that can occupy your time, because otherwise this sport will eat you alive. So kudos to you for having great balance in your life. It's super important.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you. And I think that's kind of part of having a social media account and not a separate one for just running, that coaches or people trying to recruit me may see that the person side of me, just not the times.
Love it. Yep.
100%. So we appreciate everyone that watched wherever you watched from, whether it's X, YouTube, Facebook, Kick, or Twitch. Make sure you smash the like button, subscribe, follow if you have not already. Everyone that sent the chat, we appreciate all of you. Really love what the chat was rolling at the Shore Regional runners and stuff. And you guys are passionate about Coach. Obviously, you want to support Alex, and that's awesome. So we appreciate you all. And we'll be back tomorrow night. We will be back again with another amazing story, another amazing show. So make sure if you tuned in tonight and you're from Shore, don't leave us so soon. Come back tomorrow night. I promise you'll enjoy it. So everyone, thank you so much for watching. We appreciate everyone out there. We will be back tomorrow. Bye, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.